Hey everybody, welcome back. It is the Fantasy Rugby Yanks. My name's Jared Dyke.
I'm Ben Glauser.
Hey, we had rugby this weekend, in case you forgot. I was so excited.
Live rugby with the crowd.
Yes,
like,
I know.
Real
Oh,
cheering,
man.
not piped in.
Yeah, bite me, Fox Sports. Yeah, that was awesome. Oh man, I love that.
And what a representation of rugby it was too.
Yeah,
it's not even that there was rugby. It was excellent rugby.
It was good rugby too. Yeah, totally. Yeah, that made me smile. That's for sure. Couldn't smile bigger.
Yeah, well, yeah, we both little bitter smiles on both our faces.
Yeah, that's all right. I'll take it.
But still, smile nonetheless.
Nothing was going to make me mad.
I think we kind of have. I think I settled on the right word this weekend. It finally took me a little bit. It's an exhibition. Like, this is just an exhibition of rugby.
It kind of is, yeah.
I mean, not so much this one. Definitely the Rugby Australia. I guess we'll get to that. But
yeah,
what's coming with there?
We'll go to that one in a second.
But yeah, like definitely but it was also interesting because they're playing with the enforcement of the rules. Both matches had a significant number of penalties because they're asking players to do some different things. But so it's kind of like they're testing things out. I like it.
Yeah, we'll talk, and we'll definitely get into that deeper for sure. How's your beer?
Full.
Yeah, so is mine. Let's solve that. Obviously, if you haven't figured it out yet, we are on all the favorite places to find your podcast: Google Play, Spotify, Apple Pod. You know, if you're so inclined to listen to it on YouTube because you don't want to use any of those other methods, we're there too. And our live pod's still up there too.
Oh, cool.
So that recording's up there for whatever those shenanigans.
Always a fan favorite.
Yeah,
I noticed you're still going with the pouring method, even in while we're separate, even in isolation.
I can't. I can't.
Still being a gentleman.
I can't. I can't lose that practice.
Yeah, I'm just that's true.
Habit.
Oh man, I just realized that. Yeah, I'm gonna suck when we get back to live shows. Damn.
Yeah, just been trying to keep the habit going. You know. Obviously, we want to as always we want to say thank you to our friends at both George. First of all, George, the Fantasy Rugby Geek. He's the man. He's always got some good stuff. He's always sniffing out what's going on with fantasy rugby as well. Obviously, we found out this past weekend that FRD did not get a competition together because it really just didn't make sense.
Yeah,
it just wasn't going to happen. And then the rugby magazine might actually have been an okay one though. So it's too bad that they couldn't get their Super Rugby off the ground. So those of you that are looking for fantasy rugby stuff out there, pay attention to these guys next time, please. But yeah, they take care of us.
A little more love for them,
and we love them. Yeah. So Ed and the guys over there do a good job. As we spoke of last week, the Fantasy Rugby Yanks supports wholeheartedly Black Lives Matter. You know, it's not a competition. None of that shit. I don't want to hear it. Okay.
That also includes proper attribution of the subject of a photo. If you're a newspaper or some sort of
BBC, what are you doing? Oh
yeah,
that's so bad. That was so bad.
I saw someone say like they're freaking Curry twins and they never get it wrong. Like,
yeah, that's bad. Like, if you can tell Tom and Ben Curry apart, then you should be able to tell Ellis Genge and Lewis Ludlam apart. Come on, man.
Right. Like that's not.
That's so shameful. Yeah. So,
and I'm starting to see other that people are posting other
instances.
Yeah. And it's just like, guys, come on. Like,
come on.
Get it right. How is
your finger out?
And that's not just to point that finger over there. That happens plenty in the US too.
No doubt.
It's just that's the culture. It's like, well, whatever.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Yeah. Don't be right. Don't be first. Come on, guys. Let's go. Let's get with it. We have a little bit of player movement that we hadn't recapped yet. Law's going over to France for a year after signing his extension at Saracens, so that'll be interesting.
He'll do well at Montpellier, and they'll get him playing a little bit more open, get him maybe a little bit used to more expansive rugby than playing it safe.
Yeah, there definitely won't be any structure involved.
Yeah,
not over there. So get ready, just go whenever you get the ball in your hands.
That's really his missing piece. He's good when you give him like a clear job to do.
Mm-hmm.
But all of a sudden it's a little bit razzle dazzle, and he's kind of that's just not his game. So hopefully maybe he can learn from this.
Right. We have the world. So today was supposed to be a meeting. I don't know if any notes have come out of it yet, or if anything's been talked about yet. It was supposed to be a meeting about potentially putting together a World Rugby Calendar. Talked about it a little bit last week. And just wanted to kind of revisit it. And this is somebody. I was listening to House of Rugby, and Tyndall made a really good point. Like, this is a chance for RFU and Premiership to get on the same page, so that they can make. You look at the two countries that I think about off the top of my head that really have their shit together in terms of players being paid well enough and also wanting to stay home are Ireland and New Zealand. They both and yes, you have to according to their selection committees, you have to be playing in those countries and for those teams, but it's a dual contract, so they have to. RFU and Premiership will never have dual contracts, but they have to work out something as close as possible in order to see them both succeed. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, and it's just a good opportunity to get everything going at once, and to get those breaks. Though I think that was the big one that maybe we didn't emphasize enough last week, to get those international breaks where you can get everybody to go to play for their international teams too. Like, I would love to have. For the ARC, I would love to have AJ and TT and all those guys available for every game there. Right. Ruben De Haas, like all those guys.
Yeah, because that way they can actually, bring what they have learned and how what they've been developed to do back to the U.S. squad more than once every 4 years.
Yeah,
or at least a lot more regularly than that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and getting them to play more together regularly is only going to help these clubs and these squads. So you want to get some fresh blood into these knockout stages, which we're all begging for, because right now Japan just broke through, thankfully, but they had to do some pretty extreme stuff to make that happen. If you haven't looked at Squidge's video about what the Japanese team did. It's very interesting. Go have a look at it. Maybe we can get Squidge on here one day. That'd be awesome. I'd love to hear him talk.
Maybe like a year ago, that would have been really easy.
Yeah, not anymore. He's a tough get now. Yeah. That dude probably costs money. Yeah. Can't say I blame him. Yeah. There was that, and then I don't know if you had anything additional on the World Rugby Calendar.
Not so much for now.
I think we get more news.
They need to get the leaders, I guess, different World Rugby, unions and whatnot, together with the NFL, and like, and I mean, like as a learning experience, like, what did you guys do to improve your base from where they were? Because like, there's there was a hesitance on the part of a lot of NFL owners to give up something to make the NFL great. Mm-hmm. And eventually the NFL was able to convince them of that, and it worked out. That similar aspect has to come into the different geographical unions, especially RFU. Like, you need to give up some things and let the game grow. And it's like to look at the long-term benefit. Yeah. Yes. You might not get as much in the short term, but over the long haul, it's going to make the product sustainable, which is really what everybody's talking about. Rugby has to be sustainable. That's the way. It's not sustainable when there's higher resources allocated to specific teams. It's got to go. It's got to be distributed more equally, and it's got to be like, develop the game and make it. Yes, you won't. Maybe England won't be in the top. Maybe they won't make the knockout stage one year, because other teams are good, not because right, not because they're losing out. It's that that other teams are good enough to make it and earn it on their own work, but they need they need the resources to do that.
Absolutely.
That work.
Absolutely, yeah, they do. So hopefully everybody can play nice for a little while and then let it take, and we can see what kind of goodness comes out of it. Let that one marinate. But speaking of England not making a knockout stage, sounds like Andy Good has echoed some of the same things that Sam Burgess has brought up with Mike Ford. So, I mean, all I can say is if he's saying it and he's saying
I'm genuinely shocked that Goody said that. He does not see, like, his I have such a fucking love-hate relationship with him.
a lot of us do.
And this kind of reminds you of why there was definitely a lot of Goody, shut the fuck up, like, coming the last couple of months, to the point where I have kind of not bothered to keep up with the pod because I'm just like, I don't really want to hear him right now. A
lot of people.
Yeah. And so I think maybe that's involved in why he's saying it. But at the same time, it's big. He's also one of the guys who's like, would keep it mum and not, not air dirty laundry. But but if he's saying that, then
it says a lot.
Yeah.
Completely. So it says way more than people think. So, yeah. I think so needless to say, there's something to Mike Ford and Sam Burgess and all the things that were talked about on that House of Rugby podcast. Now, I wouldn't mind hearing the Ford's side of it and then just comparing notes, but
I'm good.
I'm
kind of done with the Fords.
I've come to the conclusion I'm going to, but if they were to do it, I'd listen. But
I'd probably listen. I've come to
my answer.
Yeah, like there is a reason why George Ford is the starting 10 for England, and it's not because he's the best fly half in England. So
no.
What the fuck? So that's my that's my issue with it. And so I'm kind of like, I'm good if I never see him again. Like this last World Cup, and then especially the Six Nations, I'm like, I'm done. I'm done. Go away.
There were a lot of errors that he made, especially in that first game against France. Yep. So, yeah, no surprise to anybody here. All right, let's talk about the actual rugby on the field since we finally had some.
Have some.
Super Rugby Aotearoa. I hope I said that right.
Aotearoa.
Yeah, nice. All right, I'm not a complete helmet. So, game 1, Forsyth Bar. It was rocking down in Dunedin, and we got the match we were hoping for in terms of entertainment value. That is for sure.
All the way around.
All the way. Right down to the wire.
I mean, really, has like, it's unfair it's almost obscene to air a young man fucking his own father on international television. Very Black Mirror.
Oh man. Yeah, I was like, "Is that? Oh, that's Bryn Gatlin. Oh, he hit it.
So here's the conspiracy theorist in me. Is that Mitch Hunt had a terrible first half. How many kicks did he miss? How many points was he responsible for? For keeping it close? Only for him to come off for him to come off in the second half and have Bryn Gatlin come on and
it wasn't supposed to be Gatlin either.
His dad
it was supposed to be Josh Ioane was supposed to be in the team, and he got dropped on Thursday. So yeah, it was it wasn't even supposed to be that way. So there you go.
Well,
it was. I mean, hey, it was a great game, and going to the Damien Mack kick, and we talked about this. I think who was it? Was it France that hit one early that we talked about against like Argentina or something like that?
Something like that.
And I was like, "Ooh, is this one of those situations where that might have been just a wee bit too early?" Yep, it was.
And I thought the same thing this time. Then they talk about, they had only mentioned Damian McKenzie setting up for the droppy right as the pass was coming. It's like, no, the guys on the field had to listen to the announcers.
Wait.
Cadence. Yeah, it's too early. And you see the way that that the Highlanders just ended the game, like 4 forwards on one side. All right, we're gonna pop pass, take down. 3 of them just bowl over to like. How hard would that have been for the Chiefs to do? And then give DMAC easy drop goal with the clock red. Like that was way too early. Easily,
it was definitely
easily
early.
a minute too early.
Definitely early. Probably. Yeah, but I have to say, there was a point for the Highlanders. They obviously fixed it. I felt like they were overplaying the middle of the field a little too much, and just there was a point where I was like, 10 phases midfield, and they ended up giving it away. I was like, damn, why would you do? Like, what are you doing? Just send it the other way. Like, you've played 10 phases. You are not going anywhere after 10 phases if you haven't yet. Just send it down the other direction before you screw up and they take advantage of it. Yep. So, oops. I mean, great stuff all around, though. Just
it was. I thought that the Chiefs. Aside from that, though, like I thought the Chiefs lacked a lot of discipline in certain areas, especially in attack. Mm-hmm. They gave away a lot of cheap opportunities. Like who is it? So Akula, him rolling in tackle.
He had a bad game. He had a very bad game.
He made up for it in some ways, but not enough. Not nearly enough. I mean, that he had a huge crunching tackle and open. Like there was a period of open play, and he just lit someone up. I can't remember who it was.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was like, so he did a couple, and he did some other things, but yeah, he fucked up too much.
He couldn't stop himself a few times.
Yeah,
I was like, no, they shouldn't have done that. Yeah, and we talked about it. We alluded to it before. Like a lot of penalties in this game because I think New Zealand RU has come down at the very least, if not World Rugby has come down and said, police the breakdown properly. Not a lot, like double movements that might have slid were not getting let go at all. They were automatic penalties. Guys coming in off the feet. I mean,
in from the side.
The gate it usually has a wide berth. This did not have a wide berth at all. Like 10 degrees outside of where you usually are, and that's it. Like you got zero room to come in from the side. So if you didn't hit it right, you definitely got popped. So yeah, this is the referees cracking down, and now the players have to adjust. They didn't adjust this game or this week, so
they will. It's a lot of getting back into things. They've had
they're all rusty.
Right,
they're all rusty as hell, even if they've been trained for a little bit.
Right. So even the referees were a little rusty. It was but I thought it was well done in the end. I thought that there were I thought it was a little it's weird. It was uneven except for the yellow cards. So the yellow cards kind of brought things into balance with the referee. Like I thought he'd let the Highlanders get away with a little stuff.
Yeah, so it was a great game. Highlanders took it. Was it 30-28, 30-27? But yeah, it was a great.
I know 28-27 was 1 point.
28-27. Okay, so it was. Yeah. I mean, kicks
one fucking point. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great game. This was the type of rugby that we were all craving, obviously, and just to see the fans all just like together and smiling and happy. It's like the rest of the world. Can we get our shit together, please?
Yeah. Oh well, that was the best part. The football spiking. And before the match, talking about how look at all the work we did as New Zealand. We beat COVID. We're the first ones back, and they talked about all the different areas around the world where they're playing the match. Like, look at all these countries that don't have live sports right now. But here we are, New Zealand. Like, let
alone live sports, let alone watching. Being able to watch it in person.
Every bit of it was like getting kind of punched in the face, like patriotically, like like then they talk about we also want to take into account that 22 people lost their lives and their family and friends are still in pain from this, and we need to give them like cheer for their sacrifice. And I'm like, 22 people, like fuck, you and I doing this podcast. 22 Americans are going to die. Like
likely.
That's how the fuck did we fuck up so bad? Like
right.
And yeah, it's so it's embarrassing. I mean, great for them. Not any knock on them. They did it right. They did it well.
No, they were fine. They don't owe the world jack.
No, but like that they are right now they're the best country right now. They win.
They win. They win. Yeah, it's yeah, I mean, it's definitely a little tooting their own horn, but they totally deserve it.
They
man.
deserve it. Toot away.
They totally deserve it. So it was a great sight. And then the next night, come to find out, Eden Park is sold out. For Blues Hurricanes. I was like, woo, this will be fun. I mean, the atmosphere wasn't super raucous like I thought it would be, but it was still a very positive atmosphere.
The game was in the beginning.
The game kind of let it down a little bit. Mm-hmm. Hurricanes, their lineouts were horrendous, and that didn't matter who was throwing, whether it was Coles or Amua, both were awful. And credit to the Blues, they were on top of the Hurricanes lineout all day. They were stealing it left, and the difference between overthrows from Coles and Amua and the Blues reading it well and being able to put up a jumper to take it away, and more often than not, that was the case. So it's more of a credit to the Blues. The Hurricanes do have to figure their shit out, but that's definitely a credit to the Blues and their lineout coaching and their jumpers and being able to figure out what was going on with those.
And we got to talk about Sam Nock and Aotearoa Black, two.
Both pretty good.
Both really acquitted themselves well. Like that's Black was kicking. You have Bowden Barrett.
I was like, why is Aotearoa Black kicking? I was a little nervous. I was for the Blues. I was like, Black's kicking. Okay, whatever. Okay.
And he showed some clangers. He hit every single one. He was.
Yeah. He hit them all before he ended up coming off.
Before he came out. Yeah, I think they missed one after he came out.
Shocker! I'm sure it was probably Harry Plummer that hit it. So maybe Bowden Barrett, but I don't remember.
I don't remember.
Not that important because it didn't matter because
it was over at that point.
I mean, unfortunately, the end was just it was a little anticlimactic because there was nothing really on the line. The Blues had to get 2 more tries to get a bonus point, so that was kind of gone. And the Hurricanes were going to have to score 10 more points in order to get a bonus point. So really, that match was in no man's land for the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So I was, TJ Perrinar was playing 10. I was like, geez, I was like, oh, this is not good. This is very bad. This is very bad. I was like, okay, this better not be the team we do in Wellington and this coming weekend here.
We've gone way too long in this discussion of this match without mentioning the best front row try of the season.
Cole's on the wing.
Cole's on the wing. Off like a rocket. and then the celebration where they drag in
Bowden in. Have you seen the video of the two of them kind of pushing it back and forth?
No.
Cole's wax Bowden a little late while the Blues had the ball. And then Bowden chases him down, just gives him a little shove in the back. You can see this kind of a smirk on both their faces, so it's no big deal. Somebody called it a cheap shot. I'm like, I think this is the two of them having a good time. I don't think it's a cheap shot. If Coles was going to cheap shot you, he'd make you sure you felt it.
Yeah.
So it was great. I mean, it was good. It was just good stuff for the Blues. They played very well. I thought that, again, another case of overplaying in the wrong areas of the field. Hurricanes were definitely guilty of it. Blues did a pretty darn good job of getting the ball out when they needed to. So it just credit to them. Like Tom Robinson had a pretty darn good game. Tui Pelotu had a really good game for them. Obviously, we talked about Nock, Black, Talia. Amazing.
Talia and Clark. I mean,
the two of them together.
Yeah,
beasts. So they had a lot of good.
And Ioane
guys clicking for them.
Right. Yeah, Ioane was everywhere. Like he was only noticeable. It was noticeable when he didn't do anything. You're like, oh, 13's got the ball. All right,
where'd he go?
Oh, he didn't do anything. Oh man, not this time. That's all right. He's gonna get it again in like 5 minutes, and we'll see something awesome.
Yeah, he's this is a great performance for the Blues in front of a big crowd at Eden Park, which they don't necessarily get that often. So really, in the end, for New Zealand rugby, that was huge as a whole, because and then afterwards the crowd stormed the field, which was awesome to see because they were just elated to have live sports and be able to just enjoy each other's company for first time in a long time. Really, it was great stuff, and I got to give the Blues a ton of credit. The Hurricanes did not show up. No, Jordy Barrett did not help. Artie came off the bench, but he was way too little too late when he came off the bench. I'm sure he was on a pitch count of some sort, so that's probably why he didn't get too many minutes. But the guys that needed to show up for
Karifi,
nope, he was nowhere to be found really.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe they stick Artie at 7 and keep Gareth Evans at 8 next week. Dewey did not show up to play very well. Of course, TJ was TJ. You know, he was trying. He's a competitor. He tries like hell always.
And then you got the referee.
He's always barking. You know, it's him.
Yeah. Well, he was put in his place pretty well. But yeah, that's again that I like that refereeing. You know, like I know, yes, you're TJ Perenara, but I'm the referee for this match. So
calm yourself there, buddy. And this match again, like the other one, had quite a few penalties.
Right.
No shock, but we knew the night before had a load of penalties, and you could only suspect that was going to be the same thing. So it was definitely going to be a big emphasis, as they talked about.
So, both games were a little sloppy, but also a little impressive. Like I feel like they were trying for some knockout blows. Like they were out to score tries, when they could and really be aggressive. And I think that made it more fun. So it's like when they hit, when everything was clicking, that was so much fun. And then it's like if it wasn't clicking, it was ugly and penalty filled. And
for sure, no doubt, yeah. Things that might have been legal, and we talked about some other things, like we talked about the coming from the gate, but even like the hands on, like, man, if you even slightly arrived off your feet, you got nailed. There were a lot of guys that,
I just get the feeling that like in 3 or 4 weeks, we're going to see like 50 to 40 scores. Like it's just going to be,
it's
twist very my arm, man. It seems like a very attacking style for the occasion. I would love that continues.
Wouldn't make me sad by any means whatsoever. No. So it was a good spectacle for the world. It was on. The jerks at ESPN finally came through for us and got us what we needed so we could watch the match. If you're in America and you have ESPN2, set your DVR, because it'll be way too early or way too late for you to watch it, likely, unless you're one of those people, which is no judgment here. But yeah,
I tried to stay up for the late game on Saturday. I couldn't.
Was not happening. I could have told you that was happening for me. Yeah, no, I was doing housework and shit all day long. So I was like, yep, good night. A couple beers in me, and I am down for the counts.
I made it close, but I was like the kid waiting up for Christmas. No, it was like, it's almost 11.
No. Yeah, so
unfortunate.
Close. But yeah, Blues take the win, and they start off right. They who's on the bye this week? The Highlanders are on the bye. We'll talk about that when we do pick them in a little bit. So we had some very good scrum halves on display this week, and one that even acquitted himself that wasn't necessarily in a high end category,
right?
As well. But although I have to say that that's the one thing on the Crusaders that they don't have is a very good scrum half. Everything else they're good though. So.
They'll hear you.
Everything else they're fine. So yeah,
nobody say anything.
So there is people can rank certain positions, certain scrum half. They do it over here with quarterbacks in the NFL all the time. Number 1, number 2. Listen, it's hard to say because it's super subjective. It's super, in the moment. Like at this moment right now, who's the best? And people will, for right now, and all that's just, pretty subjective. So it's like, what you can do is I see a lot of people just go with tiers. I was like, we could do this for like scrum halves easily.
Yeah, definitely.
So I figured we could have a wee bit of a conversation about this, because there's more than enough scrum halves in the universe that we at least know about.
I agree.
That we could probably pin into 1 to probably about 6 categories here, depending on which one you're looking at here. So I think without question, so I'll read down the names of who we have, and they're not necessarily in any particular order. Seeing as we just watched New Zealand rugby, Aaron Smith, TJ Perenara, Brad Weber, England's Ben Youngs, Wales, Rhys Webb and Gareth Davies, Ireland's Conor Murray and John Cooney, France's Antoine Dupont and Sebastian Basie, Scotland's Ali Price, Australia's Will Genia and Nick White, South Africa's Herschel Jantjies, Faf de Klerk and Kobus Reinach, Tonga's Tani Takalua, Argentina's Felipe Escura, and then Italy's Tito Tibaldi. So, there's some names in there that you can say, okay, they definitely don't belong with others, but you could probably put them somewhere near others as well. So
yeah, because there's others on this list that, like, Ben Spencer is like an honorable mention to this list, but I think he'd be higher. I think he'd be more than that if he actually could get a look from England rugby.
Yeah, I would agree. He just hasn't got the game time recently, and
yeah,
you and I both are a little biased to Ben Spencer.
Sure, but we've also seen him do amazing things.
I think he is a better the best scrum half, one of the best scrum halves in England. Mm-hmm. No question in my mind. We'll see what happens when. But
nobody else is really getting time. So, I mean, we're not putting Willie Hines on this list. He's good, but he's not like.
No, I don't think he's that good. I don't think he's worthy of this list, honestly, especially if we're talking about. Yes, we could probably put him in the same categories as a couple of guys on here, but really, do you need to add another name just to add another name?
Right. He's not in the top tier. He's at the lower tiers.
Right. So for me, I think Aaron Smith goes in the top tier for sure. No question.
Yeah, I think he's peaked, but he's still
there.
He's still there.
He's still there.
Yeah. No.
He might have peaked, but he's still there.
I'm just saying he used to be better, but now he's still the top tier.
Yeah. Oh yeah, understandable. And then probably Conor Murray is right there with him.
Yes, I agree. Both of them have their career trajectories they're on the back nine, but they're both highly effective.
Quite good. Yeah. Is there anybody else that you think would be worthy of a top tier in this conversation?
No, not unless I was just going to be biased for guys I really like to watch. So no.
Right. So I think we can probably establish that as the top tier.
As just like you're if you want a scrum half, you go with and you go with one of these two.
Yeah, you're starting a scrum half. You're starting a team. You can pick whatever scrum half in the universe you want. No, bar none. You're probably going to pick one of these two guys. Because
if I'm thinking long term, like if we want that, again, the peaked guys, but you also want the up and coming guys. Because I'm looking at Herschel Jantjies and Antoine Dupont as in 3 or 4 years they're going to be.
They'll replace them for sure.
Right.
They'll definitely unseat these guys.
So,
for sure,
so like if I'm starting a team, I might want that. I might want to say, what, true. I'll take the inexperience, but the raw talent over the full on experience, but you only get like a year or two out of them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a lot of people that are talking that Aaron Smith will definitely be playing in France in 2023 for the All Blacks, which wouldn't shock me by any means whatsoever. So if we were going to go, how many guys do you think are in the second tier down? I can think of probably 3.
So we had top 2 guys.
Mm-hmm.
And then with the next year, if we want to go round out like a top 5 kind of thing, go 3 guys.
So I could think of, as in the second tier, Dupont goes in there for me. Man, I think I got to put TJ in there as a second, which is bonkers to think because he's the backup for the All Blacks, but he's the backup for the All Blacks. So it's really hard. It's really hard to not.
I'm here and look, I'm looking to put somebody else in there that's got even more off the wall than that. But because I go Reinach.
I might be inclined to say that too. And that's just subjective. The only other name that I would put close to those 3 would be Webb.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure he's there only because
here's
the thing. I would put him there if he had played a lot more for Wales recently.
Mm-hmm.
I think if he had played a lot more for Wales recently, and that's not his fault, that's Wales being stupid. I think if that was the case, if that were possible, I think you could make the case for him, I bet. So I would do that. So we have TJ Paranar, Antoine Dupont, and Kobus Reinach as our twos. As our second tier on their own. So 3 probably definitely consists of Rhys Webb. me.
To me, definitely, and both the remaining South Africans.
Yeah, Jan Chies and de Klerk.
Right.
And
who
else do we put into there? Do we put?
I put Ali Price in there.
Yeah,
I like Ali Price.
I do too.
And Cooney, like those, like Cooney too. I put those.
So it's a big.
I'd
it's a
expand
big
it and say
tier.
this is like a five player. We got 1, 3, 5 makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. So
because it's a group, it's arguable at that point. But
yeah.
Totally. I'd put
totally
an upper and lower limit on that.
Yeah.
Around 5.
So yeah. So that's 1, 2. Yeah, that's 5 there. So then next down probably has to include the likes of Gareth Davies, Nick White.
Yeah.
Yeah. So put him as 4, and Gareth Davies as a 4. Have we approached Ben Youngs yet?
No.
Okay.
No, Young's going to be lower than that. Young's going to be. I mean, maybe it is kind of like a little, like this is almost 3B.
Yeah. Is
because
Weber above Youngs?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. So we probably have to put
Genya above Youngs.
We probably have to put so we're putting both the Australia guys maybe in this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm good with that.
And then I don't think we can justifiably put we almost have to put Bezzy and Youngs in their own category with 5, and then put the ones that are a little bit outside.
I just kind of put them all in because really like Takalua plays pretty damn well when he was in the Premiership or when he's in the Premiership.
I no argument on me.
And I thought he acquitted himself really well at the World Cup, but I think he'd look a lot better on a more organized team in both.
Likely.
And, again, same thing with Tibaldi. Like, I can't rate him low based on the fact that maybe he's better than he acquits himself playing. And same, again, carrying that over to Ascura. So I think those are the guys who are like Ben Youngs, we know is not the guy for if you're a national side, he's not your scrum half if you're interested in winning a championship. You know that.
Yeah.
Do you know that if about Tene Takalua? Not really, but they're good. They're kind of about on the same page. So that's kind of why I would go. Basically, everyone else would be in that last tier there.
And I'll say this: Ben Youngs, when he used to take off and when he used to do those snipes around the ruck, made himself super effective, and that led to those taxi lines that we talked about, and that made him effective in a lot of ways. And he stopped doing that. And since he's and with him stop doing that, his service isn't good enough to make him the next level, and maybe it's his age. I don't know what it is, but so if Ben Youngs is in form and playing like, the person that got him noticed to be in an England shirt,
the way he played against the Kiwis, really.
Yeah.
I mean, he had, we just watched that with my, with our rugby club.
Yeah.
And he had, and I talked smack about him before, but this was I was like, this is why everybody hates Ben Youngs, because this is what he could be, and it's what he's not.
He's definitely a coach's nightmare for sure.
Yeah.
He is like one of those ones like, I'm going to tear my hair out right now because this guy should be so much better, but he is just not helping me right now. So and you could put that, and then you could put, what's the Gloucester Italian scrum? Brayley. You could put him as an honorable mention on here too. We talked about Ben Spencer as well. So he could be in this list, but again, we're going to start.
We're looking at the next.
I think he could. I think when he gets more of a chance with Italy, it'll be a little bit more obvious. That's where it is. Speaking of us, and you mentioned Ascura before, I guess the Argentinian team, the Jaguars have basically told that those players can go pursue contracts elsewhere if they wish. So I don't know if that's like the demise of the Argentinian team or if there's something else going on.
I don't know.
Might be too bad.
I saw that. I thought I saw someone signed some. I thought I saw that some sort of someone signed within Super Rugby. It might have been with a South African team or maybe even an Australian team. And I was like, oh, what they already. So yeah, I was definitely thinking about what's happening to the Jaguares. We could lose both.
Really unfortunate.
Both the new entrants to the Super Rugby.
Yeah, the non-Sanzar teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be really unfortunate, especially as well as they did as well as they performed last year.
Yeah.
Getting to the final and playing really hyped up rugby for a lot of it.
Right, and that's, I don't know. I think that's helped them get to this point as a country, Argentina. That is like coming, a team to be feared internationally.
Yeah, you can't sleep on Argentina anymore.
No, I think that's helped them get to this point. I don't know if they need it to continue. I'm hoping they can though. Like it might be a year or so, but I think they'll get back to where they.
Yeah, I hope so.
Where they are now.
Really hope so. Really hope so.
I feel like that should be part of the plan, is to get that Japan, get the Sunwolves back in.
Yeah,
like have a plan to get them back in, not just let them back in, but have a plan to make them viable.
Yeah, and not make them pay so much freaking money to be a Super Rugby franchise. Mm-hmm. Come on now, that was so bogus when I found that out. I was like, what the shit? And you're kicking them out? Like, come on, man.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, there's that, and there's two ways to go about it with the Japanese franchise. You could do that, or you could go and develop that Japan Super League a little bit heavier. Like, we saw the friggin' way guys were destroying that league, like Arhis Neyman, because the players are just, they're not huge. The same level.
They're
not the same level. Yeah. So you could develop the Sunwolves into a more viable option, or the other route is, okay, no Sunwolves, but you make that Japanese Super League a better product, mm-hmm. and make it something that people want to watch.
Right. Build its own, build that as because I really do think if we get the World Rugby Calendar worked out, that mm-hmm. It'll be we can have some sort of club championship. So you can have a league in Japan. And if they qualify, maybe on different tiers, maybe there's exactly how they do the European Champions Cup. There's a Champions Cup. There's a Challenge Cup.
Right.
Maybe there's a Champions League, or not league, but a playoff.
Final of some sort. Yep.
Right, and they could do a Champions, a Challenge, things like that, and that way you're still playing quality club teams, even if you're not on the international state, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But that would help grow the game in someplace like Japan to the point where they would have a dominant club and they would have good public. Yeah.
Right.
Just grow the game locally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And bring it global.
I will say that the international stars of yesteryear do speak glowingly about playing in Japan. Mm-hmm. They say they enjoyed it. They say that they speak well of it. I think part of them enjoying it is also because the training's not that rough. That might be why, and they're usually fairly well compensated as well. So maybe that's why. But to the Japanese league's credit, I will say that they definitely sounds like they do right by those guys when they go there. So
yeah, it's not like certain other countries that players go to for the mm-hmm. money and then get miserable and
mm-hmm.
Because there's no structure to it and no anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to go into.
You hear guys talk shit about going to France. They're like, "Yeah, I went for the money."
Some guys
Nobody
do.
Nobody says I went to Japan for the money. I went to Japan for the money, but they also had a lot of fun.
Yeah, sounds like that.
It was a good experience.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, you can, and I go back to Big Jim. He says, "Yeah, when I went to, where'd he go? Bordeaux or something like that, or whatever it was, Montpellier, whatever it was." He said, "Yeah, that was 100% about the money."
Yeah.
And even Chris Ashton, mm-hmm. He went to Toulon totally for the money, but he hated it there.
Right.
He jumped ship afterwards. He's like, "Cool, I set the record in the league for tries. I'm out. Later. I'm good. You guys have fun. I'm out." Because it's I guess it's super cliquey, which in a way kind of makes sense. So yes, yep. There's a lot of good to be had by the World Rugby Calendar getting reset, and being able to take a look at leagues separately, and all running concurrently or as concurrently as possible. Obviously, there'll be a little bit mismatch here and there, but to have and I go back to I hammered it earlier, the breaks, to have actual international windows, because what happens is here's the thing: when you have a legit international window that would be, sanctioned by World Rugby, they have it for FIFA, they have it for soccer, they have it for football. You have an international break, you get to have your, I'll rewind the clock, your Landon Donovans, your Clint Dempseys, in your team for those friendly matches that are being played over here. You put butts in seats, and you also put out a good product as well.
Yeah.
So,
because I remember
it's a double-edged sword. So
yeah.
It's huge, and I can't emphasize it enough. So I'm okay with this idea. Right. And those that are turning off it are the likes of Stephen Jones, that are an old fart that's still stuck in 19th century. So, like
I've said we got to see TT Lamosatelli play against the Maori All Blacks, and where everybody was like, look, make sure you see him and make sure you watch him play, because you're probably never going to see him play live again. And it's like, yeah,
but you did.
Have I?
Yeah.
Did he play it?
I think he played for the Saracens when they were over here.
Oh, he must have. All right. Well, that's cheating.
We got lucky. We
got very lucky for that.
We got lucky.
But yeah, he had to have, because they're going to play the Yanks. Like there's no way they wouldn't. But yeah, it's just kind of annoying that, like, yeah, if I want to go see the Eagles play, it really wouldn't be their best side.
No, and not unless you watch the World Cup.
They suck enough when they have their best side. Like I want.
Facts.
Don't do that to me. Like let me see the best.
No, I mean, and yeah, I got lucky and I got to see that, but that was like, that's not everybody doesn't get to do that.
No,
everybody. I got to see Manoa play.
Right.
Holy God, is that dude big? He busted his hand too. I was just like, good game, man. And he was going around shaking hands. He's like, yeah. And he like kind of gave me a half fist pound. I was like, broke? He's like, yeah. I was like, ooh, that sucks. He's like, they're gonna. You had just signed with Toulon.
Yeah.
Oh, they're gonna be mad. I was like, I bet. Yeah. So it doesn't happen where people get that opportunity all the time. Again, I was one of the few lucky ones that got to watch that team in full-fledged, and there's others that are in the same boat, but that's the small percentage, not the other way around. We need to fix that. So
yeah, we had people go over to Japan, but that was not even anywhere near as good a team.
No, I thought the team we put together for England was a little better.
Yeah,
personally, and that's just me putting that out there. And before we get too caught up out of time, we do still have to do pick 'em. Quick thoughts on Australia Rugby's competition. When do we know when it's kicking off yet?
July 3rd.
Okay.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
That'll be Reds versus Waratahs and Brumbies versus Rebels.
I guess I don't know if they're implementing the 2250 rule. I don't know how much I want to watch.
I'll watch some. I'll watch
maybe
it.
I'll give it a game. Maybe I'll give it a game.
Look, there's a lot of rules. I almost tried. I tried. No, I did try. I made an effort.
Valiant effort, my friend.
I'll continue the effort to completion so that at least you understand where I was going with it. But like a lot of rules changes that come into play, like even the scrum law changes. People kind of bitched about it first, but then you see the result and you're like, oh no, in the end, it's a better game because of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, but all this doesn't really change. And it does. It changes a lot. Because it changes how you're going to have to defend. You're going to have to drop people back. It's going to be what I'm actually interested in seeing is there going to be almost like an American football type defense where you have a first layer, a second layer, and then the back three.
That'll frustrate me personally.
And yeah,
I'm not trying to watch rugby or football. Yeah. I'm trying to watch rugby. I am trying to watch rugby.
The flat line defense is what I want to see. I don't want to make it a kicking tennis type game. Although I do find the rule about the 2250 that I find better. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing that in action. Not so much the 50-22 because that's too much of an advantage. If you have a team running all around and then you can just kick it down and have your own line out, like that's a little much. But like if you're in your own end, or you turn the ball over quickly and you can kick it out, and get ahead of the defense.
That's a little
getting
different.
back. That's kind of cool. That creates more attacking rugby. I like that. I want to see that. The 50-22 I could live without.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I could live with the 22-50, but
so
the other way around I'm not into.
Right. So I hope that they use this to give both, and I'm kind of glad they're doing it, because they're recognizing that this is pretty much exhibition. It's not. We're going to get back to sports as normal
at some
soonish.
At some point.
So for now, this is the best we can do. So let's do some things. Let's make some changes and see if we can make the game better in the end. And I think the 22-50 rule actually has some legs to it. I'm looking forward to that. But unfortunately, I have to deal with the 50-22 rule also. Yeah,
and that one I could do without personally. So yeah,
right. But it'll be interesting to see how it affects the game.
Yeah.
What happens if you actually like? Oh, you know what? It kind of makes sense. I kind of like it. That I'm scared. It does change the game. That's what I don't like. Like the scrum law didn't change the game. It just put more emphasis on playing rugby, not the scrum.
Right.
So this doesn't really put emphasis on the things that we're doing as rugby players.
Yeah.
The 22-50 rule kind of does, but the 50-22, I no, it just changes too much.
I just want, if we're going to resort to that one particular, I'd rather we just get better coaching and teach more open play and stop with the
crash ball.
So nobody is proposing the caterpillar ruck change yet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, right. Come on! Of all the things that they're proposing, they're not proposing the caterpillar ruck.
Right.
Come on, man!
Like, really? How? I just
killing me.
Right.
Killing me softly over here. Okay. All right. Let's do pick'em.
Let's do pick'em.
the whole lot of two. No change. No change in our lead. We had
matched.
We are still a dead even because Ben and I both picked incorrectly last week, both matches. So back to square one, shall we? All right. So Chiefs Blues first up. Your Chiefs going back home and welcoming the Blues after their big win.
Right. I think the Blues, that was as good as you're going to see them.
Yeah, you think so?
They played really fucking well that game.
They did.
And the Chiefs was not as good as you're going to see them. So, and plus the Chiefs are now at home. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs because I think both teams ended up winning last week. Both home teams.
Both home teams did end up winning last week.
So I'm going to go with the home team again.
Maybe unlike the Bundesliga soccer, which I've watched quite extensively, home advantage is obviously no more because there's no fans. So here there's fans, so it's actually coming in handy. I think I have to go with the Chiefs.
They made some correctable mistakes that lost that game. That's really where I am.
Yeah, they only lost it by a point. It's not like they got smoked.
And they did not play at their best. They have a bugaboo about the Highlanders. So.
Yeah, and Aaron Cruden did not start that game. And
no,
I would bet they would perform better. Granted, he's a little older. He's not going to finish any games either. I would put 60 minutes on Cruden and let's see what happens with that. Personally, that'd be me. Okay, to Wellington, and the Crusaders get their first bit of action. Hurricanes got to lick their wounds a little bit. I don't know the status of Jordy Barrett, so that's the only thing that has me concerned. But man, I got to believe Artie Sevilla is starting this game. And that might be enough to be able to shove it over. It's a tough ask. Crusaders are, they've played really well, obviously before COVID hit. It's going to be a really good. It's going to be a lot tighter, I think, than people think.
Well, I think that the Hurricanes have the experience now. So we talked about the penalties.
That's true.
The Hurricanes had the experience of here's what we can and can't do. The Crusaders, for all you can coach about it, nothing takes the place of having to do it in a match. And
true.
Because you get into like, even for like a week, they could spend this whole week working on proper supporting the ruck, but they're still going to come in from the side. They're still going to take that extra role in the tackle. So
yeah,
I'm going to go with
Hurricanes. It's just kind of one of those things you don't untrain your brain from.
You have to actually experience the negative consequences.
Yeah.
First, you can't just be like, okay, yeah, that's a penalty. Like, I get it. No, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, brains just don't work that well sometimes like that.
Yeah, that'll work for the first 10 minutes, and then
they'll go back to instincts, which aren't good at the moment. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Hurricanes.
Yeah.
Actually, you helped talk me into it because I was going to go with the Crusaders to pick up a game on you, but then I realized that no, actually, this makes sense.
Yeah, I know. We're dead even. So
yeah.
Who flinches first?
Right.
So, yeah, I think the first couple of weeks we're going to probably be chalk and go same.
Yeah.
Pretty much the whole way through. Maybe next week, but yeah.
I think especially
after we'll start figuring it out.
And once Super Rugby's back in, that'll. We'll have multiple matches and.
Oh yeah, once Australia rugby kicks in as well, that'll definitely help us with our sorting ourselves out and.
Yeah.
Shit, we're gonna have to find a point where we actually separate season 1 and season 2 because we might run into our quote unquote season 3, season 3 rather.
Yeah. Oh.
We have season. Yeah, we have season 1, season 2, season 1 finale was one of the most listened to podcasts until we did the Premiership preview, and then we did the live draft.
Wow.
Those two overtook it. But yeah, I was actually surprised that we had that many downloads of our finale. Who knew?
Yeah, we did with the Walking Dead used to do that mid-season break. Now that's
what we kind of just did.
That'll kind of be our season break. Yeah.
Yeah, I know we're going to have like freaking 2 weeks. Also, I know there are listeners out there that are downloading this in California, Pennsylvania, Michigan, like consistently. So we see you folks. Thank you so much for being awesome and doing that consistently. Feel free to drop us an email, fantasyrugbypodcast@gmail.com. We just want to know what you think. Anybody else can do that too. But yeah, definitely you guys that are out there consistently downloading the sucker. We want to hear what you think. That'd be awesome. But yeah, other than that, we are.
And that's as close as we can get is the states. So we know what state you're from out there. Listeners.
Other than that, no idea. Hands up. But yeah, hey, we're back into the swing of the kids here. 2-2 now. So here we go. Off and running there, boys.
Great to be back.
Yes, it is. So we'll probably have more information on the World Rugby schedule when we come back next weekend, and I'm sure there'll be all the talking points that have been mulled over as well. And then obviously we'll have more rugby to talk about. It's going to be a great day. But other than that, thank you very much, guys, for stopping by. Follow Ben and I on Twitter. We appreciate you guys very much. And until next time, we'll catch you guys later.
Later.
Cheers.